Welcome to another arcade fix. Today we're going to visit Dirty Drivin, and the seat adjuster here is broken. You can the seat won't go either way. So we're going to go ahead and pull the seat apart, and we're going to fix the seat adjuster. Okay, well, we'll get started. Go ahead and take the screws out here. Got the sides out. Now we get these front ones out.
Fearless.
Now we get the two back ones out. Okay, that's all the screws. Now all we got to do is lift up on the assembly, and we'll be able to set it down on the base so we can work on it. And we found a little bonus under here. Got 2 pennies and a bunch of dust. Okay, next thing we have to do is take these 4 nuts off, and that's what bolts the sliding seat assembly onto this metal plate. The wires for the lights and the speakers go up through this hole too, and it has a ground wire we have to take loose. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take these 4 nuts off. And these actually bolt the sliders for the seat down to the metal base. And one of them here has a double nut on it with a ground wire. So we'll take that first nut off first and take that ground wire loose. Then we can take the second nut off. and it just falls apart. Now we have to be careful because this plate here, we can't remove it because of the wires going into the seat. So we're just going to use that as a base. And we'll balance the seat on here. And of course it's real dusty and dirty, so we're going to clean that up. Okay, well this is the handle right here that releases these springs. It has 4 springs here that are tight on this shaft. And when you pull this lever, these springs right here are pushed down tight against the plate here. And when you pull this level, it unwinds these springs, puts them under tension, which causes them to expand so that they'll slide on this shaft. And that's how it works. When you release the lever, it takes the tension off the springs, and the springs collapse back small and grab on this shaft, and that's what keeps the seat from moving. And this is the problem right here. One of these springs has broken. It should be 4 of these little spring tabs here. Here's the 4th one, it's way down here. So that means it's probably, if it isn't broken, then it came loose out of the little plastic shaft that's in here. So we're gonna have to take these 4 Allen head socket screws out to take this plate off, because this plate is what sandwiches that other piece on there. So let's go ahead and do that. And I don't remember if these are metric or standard, so let's just try metric first. And yes, it's metric. And it's a 4 millimeter. Also, what we're going to have to do is take the shaft out, and it has snap rings on each end, so we have to take these snap rings off. Pretty sure we have to take them off of both ends, slide it back down and then out. So let me loosen these up first. I've done one of these before, but it's been a while since I've done it, so my memory isn't what it used to be. So we're going to have to just kind of go as we go here. Also, we don't want to lose our spacers here, so we'll take these spacers off, because these spacers has to go back in place. And I got one of them floating around here I'm going to have to find. Okay, we got all these loose. Alright, we got all those loose. Now let me get a little screwdriver here. Ought to be what we need to pop these loose. And these are just little C-locks here. Let's see. Yeah. Put a screwdriver in them and they'll pop right off. And that's what they are right there, just a little C-clip. So I got a C-clip and a flat washer on this end, and we should have the same thing on this end. Alright, I can't quite see it in that position. I rotate it around here. Okay, got that one off. Now, usually before I take these loose, I'll take a picture of them so I know what position they're in.
Come on, Rod. No, I'm not. I see you. You got money. I see you. Hold back. Everybody gets $1. Help Caden. I'm not going to do it unless you help Caden. You need tokens. Help Caden. You like these things? Can you get down there? No, ma'am. No, you got to help Caden. I'm not giving you money. Help her get the... I want to. Help her get the... Let's see pop down there. Come on, help your sister. Okay. Help her first. Help her right first. Hey. Don't be fast. Get that. Okay. Come on. And the one that holds it. I'll look at it if you're good. Be good. Let me get one. Come get it. What's the question? I gave her the money.
Okay, flash on that camera don't work right all the time.
Give her the $1.
All right,
You got your $1.
slide this right out.
You got your $1. Get it.
And now we can see what we got here. Okay, well, I have it apart, and here's where the problem is. All these springs should be in the same place, but this one here is way down here, which means it's been sprung. Either that or it's broke. I don't know which. The last one I fixed was actually broke. I believe it looks like it's cracked right here and hadn't broke all the way in two. That's what the problem is right there. Okay, so I have new springs here, and I have this new plastic piece here which go on the end of the spring here. So first we have to do is take the old springs off. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, there you go. Pull this apart, and that's where it's broke, right there. Since one is broke, the other three are fatigued, and they could break any time, so I'm going to replace all four, because it's too much of a pain to just replace one at a time when you know another one's going to break. So what we have to do is twist these off. And if you can push this and this one up at the same time, it sort of releases them and they'll come off the shaft a little better. And of course we got these spaces in between them. The last one is going to be the hardest one to get off because that spring is broke, so we won't be able to compress it. And that's usually a pain. I should have brought a Dremel with a cutting wheel so I could cut them, but I didn't, so we're going to have to make do with what we got. We'll see, maybe it won't be too bad. And I've laid out the springs in the direction that they go on the shaft, so I know I have this, the bent part of the spring in the right position, just like this one is. Because you don't want to put them on backwards, it won't work. Okay, that's 3 of them. Now this is going to be the hard one because the piece is stuck on there. Might have to put a pair of vice grips on it. Let's see if we can do that. That might make it a little easier to get off. No, that didn't work. All right, well, I'm gonna play around with this off camera and see if I can't get this off. Okay, well, we finally got it off. So now we're gonna take a little bit of grease, put on the shaft, and we're gonna start putting the new springs on. All right, they don't go on that easy. Let me see. Gotta make sure I keep them going in the right direction, and can't forget to put the washer in between. Well, there's got to be an easier way. Okay, that works pretty good. Push it down on here to open it up. But I forgot to put the washer in. Oh boy. Okay, I think I finally figured out how to do this. Make sure I get this in the right direction. Put it on the end of the shaft. Push it down. And slide it right on. Okay. That's the way to do it. Okay. And now we're going to take our new plastic piece here. And these go on here. So we're going to have to line these up. First, I'm going to make sure they'll go in. I remember last time I had one where the molding didn't want them to go in. I just want to make sure they'll all go in. And they seem like they will. So let's see if we can get them started. And it's kind of a pain to get all these started because they got to be lined up. One isn't lined up. Maybe that'll line them up.
Thank you. I know.
Okay, I think I finally got them on here. Give them a little squeeze and make sure they're down on there. Okay. Now we can put our washers back on the ends. Now we can put it back in the assembly. Now, this plastic piece right here has to go in this slide right here. We'll put a little bit of grease on the slide. And we'll put a little bit of grease on the shaft here. And of course that's got to go up in there. All right, get on there. Okay, that just pushes up on there, so we probably didn't even have to take these loose. I was thinking it fit up in a groove, but it looks like it doesn't. So since there's no groove, all it does is when you pull the handle, it pushes up on it, and these push down on this bottom plate, causes the springs to open up so that you can slide it freely on that shaft. Okay. So now all we have to do then is go ahead and put these snap rings back on. This one should be pretty easy because I say it should be. All right, that one's on. Now we have to put the rear one on. The only danger about putting these on is if you lose them, I don't have another one. Figure out something different with this. All right, let's see if I got enough room to get it in here. Room to get it started. I can squeeze it on. Okay, got it on. So now we can go ahead and tighten these up because we didn't need to untighten them anyway. Sure it's a tight fit. Okay. So that should work just like that. So all we have to do now is to put this bottom plate back on and put the bolts back on it. So we have these 4 spacers that we're going to have to put back on. And these spacers go on here. And these are going to be a little tricky to line up because they are sliders, so we're going to have to get them to line up with the holes. And we're also going to have to get these to line up in these slots here. So that's where the trick comes in. So let's see if we can get it lined back up. Nut on the top here. And now let's see if we can line this thing up. Problem is you can't see this thing, so I'm gonna have to put the bottom in first and lean the top out so I can line it up. All right, let's see if I can do that. got it. I need a nut. Well, I had it. Okay, well, I got the springs lined up in between them posts, so that's what we had to do. Now we'll tighten these down. Okay, now we got the ground wire to put back on. Okay, now we'll cross our fingers and hope it works. Okay, well, I think we got it, so let's try to put it back down on there again. I'm gonna have to try to put the front in first. There we go. Okay, well, let's see if it works. Okay, seat now slides. So now we can go ahead and put the screws back in, holding the seat down. And then we'll start by lining up the ones on the side here. And hopefully they all line up pretty good. But sometimes you can have problems getting these things to line up. That's why it's best to go ahead and get them started first. And once you get them all started, then you won't have a problem. And so far so good. Everything's lining up. Alright, well we're up here, let's put these front ones in. Now the two back ones. Okay, now we can go ahead and screw them down. Okay, that's all done. Now let's try it out. All right. And we have success. All right, now we can put our tools away and put everything back in place, fire it up, and we can play a game. Okay, well, the seat on the Dirty Drivin is all repaired and back up and running. So that's it for another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fix today?